So Sheikha, while you're showing us the colors, can you remind us again where you got your supplies and your paint?
Absolutely. So again, all of these were ordered from Amazon. They have they even have kits that you can get that have both the liners and the paint. And again, the brand here that we're looking at for both the liners and for the colors is this PBO paint here. So you guys can see that brand and you can see the spelling there. So again, they have these and you can get like sets of 12 and you can get them along with either a liner or you can buy them separately. They do have them in larger containers as well. So I will show you guys, for example, you can see these are the slightly larger 45 ml containers. And these are the larger ones in comparison to the small one in my hand. You guys see the difference in size? All right, so you guys can see I got the bottom of the bow here. All right, we also have some other sections here where the bow is. So I'm gonna go ahead and at the same time, I'm gonna do as many as. So this is a golden, it's a golden color, but it's a golden prism. And so this golden prism, it's gonna have this moon effect. So when it dries, it's actually going to look like it has a special texture. I'm gonna get the camera a little bit closer as soon as I'm done. You guys can actually look at how it texturizes.
Okay, some of the questions were, where do you buy it and about how much does it cost?
So I like to be thrifty. And so when I get it, I usually get ones that are on Amazon from their marketplace. Sometimes people have returned them because they didn't realize what kind of paints they were. Or maybe the box might be a little damaged, but like instead of, you know, the paints are still good quality. So I would hate for, you know, for us to not utilize or reuse things. So I like that when I get them, I can sometimes get them for like a dozen different colors for about maybe somewhere between $18 to $24, depending on the type of paint and how many pieces are in it. But usually for like a set of 12, I could probably get them for about $18. And they do last a long time. You guys can see I kind of made it look like it dripped a little bit there. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a tissue and I'm just going to dab right there to dry it a little bit.
So another question that came in through a private chat is, what is it called, that sheet that goes underneath that you trace? Is it tracing paper? And can you also get that on Amazon?
That is a great question. So that is, you can get a whole book of those, a whole book of different kinds of drawings depending on what you like from Amazon. They definitely have them available, and I will actually show you guys what the book looks like that I got that paper from. I just want to go grab some hand towels here so I can dab this a little bit. Just to dab a little bit right there. Just back inside the lines. You can see barely anything in there. For that book, I will show you guys. So there are these, you can get them off of Amazon. There's these glass painting books that you can get. I've gotten them for as cheap as 99 cents sometimes. And in it, you have like a bunch of different designs. And what I do is I like to kind of, you know, look through them if I find something I like this one. This is probably going to be the one that I do in the near future. You can cut it out and you put it right underneath it. But there are like a bunch of different designs and things you can do. I even have one, my daughters like mermaids. And so I have one that has mermaids all over it. So it's, they have like some different mermaid ones. They have, you know, so under the sea. But either way, you get to take it out and you can reuse it. And once everything dries, you have that to continue to work on. The books I generally have been able to find for about 99 cents or under $1. Sometimes they'll be, depending on the size of them, they can be up to, you know, $3 or $4, but generally I've been able to find them for pretty cheap on Amazon. But I also, you know, Google is your friend. You can always Google some different images. It can give you ideas. And again, you don't have to do the exact same thing. It's where your creativity comes into place and you can really use your imagination and design or make changes to it. This is all about your enjoyment. It's all about what you're going to get out of it at the end. Like, you want something that's you're gonna be proud of and it is uniquely yours. And the nice thing is, once you have those designs or you have those ideas, you can always improve upon them. My oldest daughter, who is almost 8, saw a lot of those designs and she decided she wanted to draw her own picture. And so this is her picture. She drew this last night. She saw some of the designs and she said, "Mommy, I want to draw a scene here." And so she's got the clouds. She's got a little ship and I guess some type of fish, but she drew that and she wants to turn this into her painting. And so it doesn't have to necessarily be from a book. It can be from whatever you want. So she's going to be working on turning this into it.
That is great. That's so creative. We have another question about the black stuff. It kind of looks like puffy paint, but what's it really called?
It's called a glass liner. And so here we go. So it's these big ones. This is a simulated liquid lead liner. And so you guys can see I'm trying to get it that close so you guys can see it. So it is just a glass paint liner. And it kind of stimulates that stained glass. I love that. Look at that. That's awesome. Guys, while we're at it, can you guys turn on your camera if you're doing it, or even if you're drawing a drawing that you want to turn into glasswork later, show me those paintings, show me your ideas. I'd love to see them. Malin, that was awesome. So the whole process takes probably about, when I do it on average, it takes about 2 hours. It takes, maybe about 15 to 20 minutes to line it, another about half hour to let it dry. And then give or take, depending on how meticulous you are with it, it could take about an hour to paint it. Now, over time, you might get a little bit quicker in it, but you want to kind of relax and do it at your own pace. It also depends on how many different colors you're using, and it depends on if you want to get fancy with it. And what I mean by get fancy with it is, I showed you guys this one that I did earlier, right? So I'm gonna bring this up to the camera, but I want to show you guys something in particular that you may have noticed at the beginning. So once I was done painting this one, does anybody notice anything about the yellow? I'm not sure if you guys can see it but does anybody notice anything special about the yellow? Does it look just like paint, or does it give you another impression? What do you guys see? Like, if I bring it up closer to camera, does it look the same as the red, or is there something extra in the yellow? That's a good description. So what you guys will notice here with the yellow is, once I was done painting it, and if you guys can see it, I texturized it. And the way I did that is I used the yellow liner to actually add some texture to it. So if I wanted to do that with the red, I could as well, but I left the red plain. Whereas here in the yellow, I use the extra liner and texturized it, so it gives it that extra. You guys see those lines? That is from the yellow liner. Now, when I first put the yellow liner in, it looked really, it looked like a dull yellow. It wasn't. It didn't become transparent. When it dries, it becomes transparent. And remember earlier how I told you guys there were the moon colors and the prism colors? Take a look at that texture. If you guys see the purple was done using the prism colors. Whereas the gold and the blue, you guys see the gold and the blue, or it kind of looks maybe like more grayish for you guys, that was used with the prism colors. Sorry, with the moon colors. So this is the prism colors, and this is how the prism colors, you guys see how the texture, it almost gives like circular texture to it. So this is the prism, and then you have this, these are the moon ones versus your traditional transparent glass colors. So I also used here versus these colors here, which were the traditional black color. So again, moon colors, and then here for the prism. And you can see how once it dries, how it gives you that different effect. So I used a combination of 3 different types of glass colors. And you guys can really decide whatever you want with it. Like, that's the beauty of it, is you can really make your own decisions on how you want it to look, what you want to use for it, and turn it into your own creations. This is what the prism colors looked in white. So you guys kind of look, it almost looks like a little bit of a crack. It's really not. It's just the way it dried. It gave like that circular. And then you can see in the, I used the moon colors for the actual moon, and you can see how it gave it this extra texture. And while we're at that, you guys actually start to see how, again, we're using the prism colors here, right? Notice how it's already starting to give that same texture to the bow. So as it starts to dry, it's going to give us that prism texture. All right, start thinking about what color we want the roses to be. I think that the general vote was blue. We have a glass blue, which is more of a, almost like a turquoise color that I'll show you guys in a second. We have the moon blue, and we have a prism blue. So I want you guys to kind of think about which one of those 3 types we should use to do the flowers. Because that's going to be our next one as soon as we're done with the bow here. And if you think of any other questions, I want to hear them. Light blue and dark blue. I like that idea. And again, even if you don't have all the materials, but you want to start maybe drawing something that you plan on turning into glass artwork, I want to see those drawings, okay? I want to see what you guys are thinking about.
Oh, it looks like Steven's showing us his artwork from today.
Steven, that's awesome.
That looks great.
All right, we have the bow done. So while I transition to another color, I want to see. Let's see, everybody. Show us your artwork so far. Turn on those cameras and show us your artwork. Oh, I love that. That is going to look so pretty, Samuel. Like if you turn that into like the glass painting, that's going to look amazing.
Wow, look at Ella's too. She's showing us her artwork. Nice. Very nice. Wow.
Very, very creative campers. This is awesome. All right, so I heard some calls for light blue and dark blue. What do you guys think of those two for the flowers? You guys think we should do a mix of these two? All right, so these two that I picked up are both moon colors. All right, let's take a look at those. I want to show you guys what those. So those are both moon colors, okay? And so since they're moon colors, remember that they're going to give that a different texture than if we used a regular transparent color, okay? So we're gonna start with this. I'll start with some dark first. I'm not going to cover in all of the flowers. I'm just going to do different parts of the flowers, and then we'll go around and we'll do the light on the other ones, all right? So I'm grabbing a different brush here, and take a look at that color. Isn't that pretty? And I'm going to start to fill in. You guys can kind of see how that's picking up already. Isn't that such a pretty color? So I'm doing a little bit on, like I'm doing random different pieces so that we can kind of have a combination of the different colors. So we'll add some of that lighter blue in later. So I'm leaving kind of some open spots where the lighter blue can be. So there's one flower there. There's another flower right here. There's another one up here.
How do you wash your brushes after you use the different colors?
Soap and water. You rinse them off with soap and water. Now the brushes that you use for painting with glass, because the glass paint is different than your regular paint, you're not going to really be like you're going to need your separate set for glass paint every time, because it's going to make your brushes a little rougher. So I keep the same set of brushes every time for glass painting. They won't be ones that I would use again for watercolors or anything like that. I do keep them separate. And if they get really difficult, let's say they get a little too hard or something, you can use a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and that can help make them a little softer, because it will remove some of the paint residue if you're not able to get it off with soap and water.
Okay, so while Ms. Sheikha is filling in some of that blue, are there any other questions? We only have a few minutes left today. So if there's any more questions, you can type them in and I'll read them out loud. Well, if you do it, please send us your picture to info@I'll type it in here. Send your picture to us. We'd love to see it.
All right, we have our dark blue. I'm going to go ahead and add in our light blue. So we got our light blue here. Look at that color. This is going to be so pretty. What do you guys think? You think it's going to look nice together? Look at those colors coming together on that rose.
Oh, Mylin, I see your picture. Hold it back up. Look at Bentley's screen.
Wow.
Oh, beautiful. All right, we should be wrapping up. Anything else you want to share, Ms. Sheikha? And everyone, your artwork is so great so far.
So again, be as creative as you guys want to be with this. This is really going to be your own creation. And I can't emphasize that enough. Like, even if you guys get some of those papers and you want to do them that way, make it whatever you want it to be. Make it something that's special to you. The first time I did this, I was your age in 6th grade. And my art teacher taught us how to do that. So we did that in class for about a week and really kind of experimented with what we were doing. And I still have that original one from when I was in elementary school. So whatever you guys do, think of it as something that you're going to be able to hold on to and it's going to be meaningful to you. And that's the biggest piece of advice I can give. But if you guys have any more questions, or have any questions about materials or other things, just let us know. All right. And thank you guys all for joining us today.